Right now. Alright, you guys get it. Yeah, totally. So what's going on here? Do you guys watch the videos?
I do, yeah.
Okay. Is it helpful that...
Yeah. I love that you put the videos on there, because I've done classes at Concept Design Academy, and I wish they would do the same thing.
Oh, cool. I'm actually...
Because it helps me, because sometimes, you know, I'll take notes, but then I'll hear the video, and it's like, oh, I didn't even notice he said that.
Yeah, it's a lot of just info. I mean, that was the experience I had.
I'm just glad they're not 3 hours long.
Yeah, same here.
It's hard to...
I would not want to lecture that long, or be in a class that long.
No, they're great. I like getting them. Is it possible that you can get them up even earlier, like by Monday?
We have an IT guy that handles all the videos,
okay.
And the earliest he can get them is Tuesday or Wednesday. So I'm sorry about that. I guess they just take a long time to composite.
Well, if you can't get the video, is it possible to get the homework assignments up by Monday?
Yeah. Well, the homework assignments were up. Did I put them up Monday or
late?
They
were Tuesday or Monday. They were already up.
Okay. Cool.
It's easier for me to get stuff done by Monday.
Yeah, I know. I gotta respect. You know, some of you guys are. Most of you guys are. You know, working. Okay, here. So it's just a lot of like loose brainstorm sketching. You know, a lot of this is just, even though it's not the most prettiest drawing, you know, our whole goal here is to investigate, you know, our design, and it's hard to do that when you put a lot of pressure on yourself, you know, when it comes to just drawing, and you're trying to always execute a pretty drawing. So here is just let's all just try to kind of put our design hats on, and just think of what the goal is for our mech.
Is there a bar downstairs?
Yeah, there's a party downstairs every Friday while we are here partying art style. Man,
you're not actually thinking about how it functions and all that, right? Just design.
I'm not too fixated on just one area. I'm actually just trying to think about, you know, certain functional parts in terms of like our primary, secondary areas. So I'm trying to really explore how I can communicate those as clearly as I can, but with, you know, different concepts in each.
Should go down there. Yeah, I'm trying to make Max there. Shut up. That always works.
I don't think they would know how to respond to that. Wait, what?
What?
Just
what?
Max?
Go scare all the girls in there.
Does anyone have any questions in regards to this technique that I'm demoing right now?
There you go now. A little bit.
So you always start off that grid first.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a specific perspective, or if I want to draw based on a specific ground plane,
Yeah.
I will start off with a grid just in case if I you know, forget where the ground is.
What are you searching for right now?
Here, I'm actually trying out different scenarios. Like, obviously, this sketch here is a front 3/4, right?
Yeah.
Back 3/4. And this is just kind of like, you know, I want to focus all my attention right here in this, you know, this piece that opens up. Down here, it's, you know, what if the piece that opens up, but from the back view or from behind, it opens up from behind, and it allows this little cockpit station to rotate out. So again, in these drawings, I want you guys to think about all these different scenarios for your mech. Okay, it's not about just, you know, oh, let's just do loose stylistic drawings. You know, the whole purpose of these is to kind of experiment and to explore where to take your designs. Have you guys heard of the term chicken scratching?
Yeah.
Okay, this is essentially what it is. These are called chicken scratch sketches, but I want you guys to do them in you know, a three-quarter view, just to kind of it's a way to kind of warm up to it. Because I can take any one of these and I can do a very, you know, successful, well-polished drawing, but it's going to be worthless if I don't have a solid design idea backing it up. You know what I mean? I'm gonna explore just areas of where, you know, I have condensed mechanism here, and areas of, you know, just rest, visual rest. Areas of condensed mechanism here. I have all these wires, cords, all these hinges and stuff all compressed in this area, and areas of rest. You see how there's a pattern? Like noisy, rest, noisy, and rest. So it's just like, you know, creating that dynamism. It's you know, even though it's a singular object, there's a composition that exists.
It's like light, dark, light, dark.
Light, dark, light, dark. Saturated, desaturated, saturated, desaturated. There's always that, you know, simultaneous contrast. So even with design, you want to keep that in mind. If everything is noisy, then it's going to look too much. It's going to be visually too much for us to take in. If everything's too plain and too clean, then it's boring. You know, you're like, well, I don't care. So, does everyone understand just this technique that I presented? Okay, and I want you guys to try different compositional styles too. Like on a page, if you look at it, you don't have to be too organized and do, you know, things in this kind of fashion. You know, again, this is art, so try to do a big drawing and a small drawing behind and a couple small ones here. So if we have that composition, it also helps to...
I mean, don't you want the art director to not value one thing over the other?
Well, this is kind of more for yourself, you know, in terms of, you know, design. Because when I show this to an art director, one, they better be a damn good artist to understand this, or there's no point. It's really just for yourself in your sketchbook. So,
you know how when we do the silhouettes, you made us draw the ground plane in different locations, and then we had the exercise where we did the bounding box?
yeah.
Is there some kind of like first step that we can do to avoid kind of drawing the same line or drawing the same shape all the time?
On the page?
Yeah. We start with the body. I mean, I tend to draw the same kind of
Same main body?
yeah.
Okay, that's a good point. If you guys are doing this 3/4 view, what you can do is have varying torso heights. Okay, so torso heights and torso width and length. So you can have say the torso of my mech does something like that. But for this one, it's low and it bends up or something. Oh, my perspective's all jank. I think if you have different varying heights and sizes and shapes, it'll help break up exactly what you're trying to go for. Because in the exercises that were presented with the square, and they all use that same default shape, that was only for you to focus on the legs. But if you do that for your design, then it's going to make it very static and it's going to look the same regardless of what you do. So this will definitely help, you know, set the tone for, you know, like your mech size, and just to kind of have a different mech shape in each one. Does that make sense? Let me get back to this sketch real quick. Sorry. So for this, you know, compositionally, when I focus on my my camera angle in this area, a lot of that's going to go directly here. So design-wise, I'm forced to kind of think about how this area is going to articulate, how it's going to look, and you know, that's kind of the whole purpose of having just different composition, you know, also being loose and not worrying too much about just how well you're drawing. So again, I want you to kind of vary the sizes of drawings and just think more than draw, just for this, okay? Again, all my attention is going to be right here, so don't get too caught up in all the details and gears. Just have like a nice loose representation of what's supposed to be there, and then just move on and just focus back on the main area. You know, this is all just here to kind of, if you don't know what else to put in there, just kind of bounce around.
This is to keep it from being too much the same.
What's up?
This is to keep it from being too much the same, too similar from design to design.
Yeah, yeah. It's also just to kind of keep your mind loose, you know, and just to.
So you were saying you're sort of thinking like basically you're thinking like a focal point.
Yeah.
And then
I mean, this is
stuff around it.
definitely a focal point, and also just to kind of help you to reorientate your point of view in a specific area of design. Because before, if you draw in this point of view, you're always going to look at it from a silhouette, and it's hard to investigate design. So, you know, I want you to do a combination of these and larger scale drawings, but in a loose fashion, so that we don't spend too many hours just drawing, you know, just doing nice drawings when we're trying to figure out what our design is. Because as I speak, and I'm doing this demo, I'm also trying to figure out what design I'm demoing for you guys. So all this is just kind of made up on the fly. You know, I have a cockpit in here. There's guys sitting inside. Are there any questions? Okay, if there's specific areas where you want to magnify, you know, certain areas of your mech, I would encourage you guys to do that as well. So you don't always have to draw the whole entire mech, but if there's, like, if you want to zoom in on this area and you want to point your camera right at this angle, just to kind of see what is this functionality. I encourage you guys to do that.
It's best to pick just one.
What's up?
It's best to pick just one.
Pick one camera angle?
Or, no, one design, one mech design, and do different camera angles for it.
Or, well, obviously you guys are starting to hone down on a specific design direction, so you're going to eventually end up with one. If you guys have multiple, or if you're still trying to figure out, do those two and start hybriding them and just figuring out, because again, it's investigating. Like, I don't want you guys to get fixated on one and just say, like, call it a day and just do an awesome line drawing. You know, I want to try to get everyone into the habit of just like constantly thinking, you know, but not having to think while doing a nice line drawing or committing to just one, you know. I want you guys to all be happy, because there's that feeling when we do a line drawing, you look back, you're like, oh, it was cool, but I still don't kind of like it. Let's try to like get out of that mentality, you know. And there's a reason why we don't like it, is because there hasn't been enough time on the thinking part as there was on the drawing part.
Speaking of which, so we can explore other mediums,
Other mediums?
like, you know, like during the crit, I believe someone used dry marker, something like that.
Yeah,
So you can do all that.
yeah.
Doesn't have to be line, right?
No. I mean, I'm gonna show you guys.
Sure.
I'm gonna show you guys 3 different drawing techniques today.
Okay.
That's the demo. Yeah.
Would you later go over this and refine it?
What's up?
Like this is the rough sketch.
This is a rough sketch, yeah.
Then you later go over this and then put everything in perspective.
Yep.
Design choice.
Yep. Have you guys heard of do you guys know the have you guys heard of the guy named Kyle Yokoyama? Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm assuming you know because you chuckled. Okay. He's one of my favorite designers because he doesn't design the way you would think he would design. Like it's not like a typical art book where everything's pretty and beautiful. His sketches are so ugly. You know, I mean they're not finessed well. They're not good beautiful illustrations. But the idea and the brilliance behind those sketches are so well represented.
That's what product designers do.
Yep, that's what product designers do. And that's essentially what I'm trying to get us into thinking. Because if we want to be a good illustrator, and we're all here to be good illustrators, we all better be damn good illustrators. I'm talking about Leyendecker, John Singer Sargent, Remington. You better be like that good, okay? But since we're a hybrid of illustration and thinking, we need to bridge the gap between when is a good time to think and when is a good time to execute a good drawing or painting, right? Because it's not about drawing and painting all the time, like really well. It's about having really solid ideas and conceptual ideas. So, I have a couple friends that I'm not going to name, but they're probably one of the best illustrators I know in this industry, and like Jesus, man, their level of skill, it just bogs me. I'm just like, wow, they're like the best. They're so good at charcoal. They're so good at acrylics. They're so good at just painting. But when they paint a mech, or when they paint a guy on a horse holding a staff that's not well designed, but the lighting and the anatomy is perfect, I'm just like, dude, you'd be a genius if you stepped back from painting and you just took a little bit more time designing. That's the difference. You know what I mean? So there's a time, like I said, there's a time to draw and paint, but there's also time to, you know, think and research. So this is a bit that I learned when I was product design, but I didn't get enough of, and I still keep practicing.
It's funny, a lot of the best board artists in animation don't actually draw that well, but their ideas are brilliant.
Yep, that's what makes them.
They're just constantly coming up with stuff you would never think of.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know what the hell this is. I'm designing all this in front of you guys as I talk and mumble, but I was thinking about this unique method of how this cockpit would open up, and I keep coming to the idea of some kind of really weird organic bug that has these mandibles that it would open up, and the mouth, or like the bottom jaw, would open up, and just the way everything would articulate simultaneously would be really unique. So that's kind of what I came up with while I was drawing this, and just to explore it from this angle, I'm like, fuck, dude, when I do a solid line drawing of this is gonna look pretty beastly, just in terms of the idea. And if I do really well rendering and painting of it, you guys will appreciate not only the idea, but oh my god, it's lit and it's textured and there's all these like ding dong dong, and it's gonna be amazing. And that's the beauty of mind and craft, okay? So you guys understand, no, Chris mentioned when you guys have like a structural piece, if it's too straight like this, okay, bend it out. Okay, give it a little bit more dynamic, like volumetric dynamism. I don't know if that's a word, but you know, just it makes it a little bit more interesting than just a regular piece. Some guy sitting on the top. Okay, now I'm gonna go in there and commit to. Now keep in mind that this isn't your final line drawing, so whether you choose to use ellipse guides or not, it's up to you.
Is this the same concept that you were doing all those ideation sketches for?
Yeah,
Cool.
it's kind of evolved a little bit, but did you guys hear about that announcement? Michael Bay is going to do Transformers 4.
Yeah.
That is madness, but awesome at the same time.
It's Mattel.
It's Mattel, right? Yeah, it's all Mattel.
They're making a lot of money.
You know, I'll probably watch that, dude.
Oh, I still like the big giant robots destroying each other. Period. That's it.
Yeah.
They're making Battleship the movie too.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for that.
Isn't Steve working on that?
Yeah, Steve worked on it.
I want to see Thundercats.
I want to see Ninja Turtles again.
Yeah.
Like, they should bring that back, man.
They're working on RoboCop too.
Well, that's what?
Tim or department chairs designing the bike.
Oh man, that is cool.
And I've seen the suit too.
Is it pretty cool?
Kinda
Okay.
looks like Iron Man right now,
Oh really?
which is a bad thing, I guess. It just looks like Warhammer, but with like the RoboCop face.
Oh.
That actually makes me think of the Halo suit redesign. Like, how do you take something iconic and simple, but kind of clunky, and make it aerodynamic?
How do you what?
Um,
Take something like clunky?
Well, a lot of those older suit designs are kind of clunky,
Uh-huh.
but really iconic. And like, a lot of people are trying to make them aerodynamic now and more powerful looking,
Right.
but they all end up looking like Iron Man.
It's because they're just looking at Iron Man and they're designing it.
Hey John,
Yep.
you having that drink and draw again?
Huh?
Are you having that drink and draw thing again?
Drink and draw?
Yeah.
Is Red Engine holding it, you mean?
Yeah.
I'm not too sure. I thought it was pretty cool. Do you guys know anything about that? Anyone else? Did you attend last semester?
No, it's just from a friend. Is there? Yeah.
It's true. It's pretty weak. Do you guys have any questions so far?
This kind of process, are you starting at the most important area or like building towards it?
Huh?
Are you starting at the focal point or?
Am I starting at the focal point? Yeah, I was starting here. And I'm just kind of bouncing around. But based on my blocking. Yeah, I mean, there's no real, like, formulated oh, you must work here and work your way down. It's just kind of whatever sparks. Because, you know, when you draw in one particular area, naturally we get bored of just sticking with that one area, so you kind of bounce around just to keep things fresh. So,
If you stay in one area, you lose your proportions.
yeah,
You start getting all these wacky.
that's true.
It still happens. Although actually in doing Mechs, that could actually be a good happy accident once in a while.
Yeah. It's a good way to
Weird
kind of
shapes and-
differentiate things. Just gonna vignette here. I drew this a little big, just so you guys can see it. But if you guys can fit maybe 2 on a page, that would be ideal. Ooh. Kind of overlap drawing. You know, the back leg, always try to just vignette it. You know, it doesn't have to be fully rendered out, or you don't have to draw all the details. As long as it's represented clearly in the leg that's closest to us, it'll be easy to understand what the mechanics are. Again, so does that make sense in terms of just a demonstration? Sorry for the, it's a little rough and the design's a little wonky, but that's kind of the demo that I wanted to show you guys for getting, you know, from a loose transition to something a little bit tighter. I want you guys to do 3 pages of these and try to have 2 drawings on 1 page. So, block it out in marker. You should have 2 designs on each page and have a total of 3 pages. Ooh. To explain this more clearly, if I had a design of a mech, right? And let's just say for demo's sake, this mech was a box. And then the legs are here. Feet. Okay, and then I have another box here representing some kind of cockpit or another structure here. Okay, so let's say that's kind of like our ideal design, right? But simplified. And if I have my light direction coming from this angle, usually I kind of do like a either side or like a top 3/4 lighting. And because there's only two values, light and dark, the way I'm going to render this is I'm going to have my, so let's say if this is my box. My shadow side is going to be completely dark, but my medium and light side are going to be the same value. Okay, and then the shadow that this box is casting is also going to be dark. So again, it's a very graphic approach. Okay, so don't think about, just think pure, complete contrast, black and white, you know, light and dark, that's it. There's no gray, there's no gradations, nothing like that, so simplify it. So here, I'm going to have just this dark mass right here, dark here, dark, I'm getting a little bit of that cast shadow here from this leg. And here, I'm going to just assume that this whole leg right here is all in shadow, because the body of this mech is covering this thing. And then we're going to go in and do objects that cast onto itself. So if I have just this corner here, right? If the appropriate angle is this angle right here, I'm going to have this corner casting a shadow. I think that's right. It's probably like this. Does that make sense? Just in terms of how I'm approaching this, right? So when you guys start out, you guys can do just some quick thumbnail designs. Oh shoot, sorry. You guys can do some quick thumbnail designs of your mech. And then just go over on top and block out all your values. And you instantly get these like nice graphic reads. So again, I usually use this technique when I'm also ideating and just trying to come up with designs. It's a really quick way of just generating, nice like indications of what this design could be.
So when you're working, you're just blowing through all sorts of investigations. And
Yeah, I mean, it's really like whatever you're in the mood for.
which keeps it fun and fresh.
Yeah, I mean, it might sound very like fine artsy, but I really don't. I don't believe in one like technique per se.
Right.
Because
You're never doing the same thing every day.
Yeah.
You kind of
just kind of keep it
doing all the
fresh.
time.
Otherwise, it's gonna become so repetitious, and you're just kind of
Then you're creating the same thing. all
you're
the
creating the same thing, and you're gonna never really grow as an artist. Are you guys familiar with Craig Mullins?
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys are. I'm like, like many of you guys, like many people in the world, I'm like the biggest fanboy of Craig Mullins. But he was doing this lecture, and one thing that really caught my attention